Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to the channel. Today we got a special video. We got to talk about Johnny Depp. We got to talk about Woody Allen. So stay tuned, all right? You see that the mainstream media, after 1 year from the trial, is still, every time they can, trying to smear Johnny Depp. Most of the mainstream media. Also, with the latest documentary that came out on Johnny Depp and the director, we've all seen how biased she was, and now a revisionist trying to endear to an audience of people that perhaps didn't take the time to see the trial, blaming social media, right, on the verdict. That's being a revisionist. That's trying to gaslight the audience and change history. When the law said Johnny Depp was, that was found guilty of defaming the ex-husband, and so on and so forth. So, why do I make the connection with Allen? Okay, Woody Allen, now it's at the film festival in Venice. He got a standing ovation, and this is triggering a lot of the leftist mainstream media that they cannot stand him anymore. Why? Because when the Me Too movement came back, was created in the midst of the 2010s or so, they tried to revision whatever they could of whatever celebrity, and they also targeted, of course, Woody Allen, because he was probably one of the first big cases back in the 90s, and we're going to talk about it in a second. So I saw an article of Rolling Stone calling him like a disgraced director, and many other articles that point to the fact that he shouldn't have been there or participated at the festival, and so on and so forth. So, for those of you that don't know, Woody Allen in the middle of the 90s, in the early 90s, was accused by the ex-wife Mia Farrow of doing strange stuff to her daughter. Something that people don't know is that actually Mia Farrow was married to this guy called Pravin, and they adopted a bunch of kids. Woody Allen was never married with Mia Farrow, if I remember correctly. They were just, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. They were dating, they were partners. And in those years they were partners. Woody Allen started to become also friends with Sun Yi, which was one of the adopted daughter of Mia Farrow and Praveen. And when she became of age, I don't know if she was actually already of age anyway, I don't know. That's the creepy part about the Woody Allen story. But anyway, those two humans, they went forward, and she married him, and she's still married to him. So they've been married for 20 plus years. They've adopted two daughters of their own, which probably by now they're also adults. And after the trial, right, because Woody Allen went through a lengthy trial like Johnny Depp, and this was, he was persecuted to the full extent of the law, right? They didn't give him any discount. And what they found was nothing. So this is the statement here about what happened today in that day. It's our expert opinion that Dylan was not as abused by Mr. Allen. Further, we believe that Dylan's statement on videotape and her testament statements to us during our evaluation do not refer to actual event that occurred to her on August 4th, 1992. In developing our opinion, we considered three hypotheses to explain Dylan's statement. First, that Dylan's statement were true and that Mr. Allen had abused her. Second, that Dylan's statement were not true but were made up by an emotionally vulnerable child who was caught up in a disturbed family and who was responding to the stresses in the family. And third, that Dylan was coached or influenced by her mother, Mrs. Farrow. While we can conclude that Dylan was not as abused, we can not be definitive about whether the second formulation by itself or the third formulation by itself is true. We believe that it's more likely that a combination of these two formulations best explain Dylan's allegation of abuse. So, there you have it. Most people put this behind the shoulder and moved on, right? The man was found to be innocent. But no, then the Me Too came along and they had to revision everything. The thing that I found most interesting here is actually that this is a very complicated family. Some of those kids that were part of the family passed away. Moses Farrow which went forward to become a clinical psychologist, a psychologist, so a professional trained in the mental health issues and so on and so forth. He has many times sided with Woody Allen. So I find it interesting that people belonging, like people which were adopted in this family, were not so fond of Mia Farrow, including Sun Yi, which in many interviews she explained why she got estranged, right? So here you have also Tam, which passed away. Her brother Moses wrote she committed suicide after a fight with Mia. Thaddeus, also deceased, is known to have committed suicide in Mia's vicinity. Lark, deceased, estranged from Mia, fell victim to disease and poverty and died alone in a hospital on Christmas morning. So this is really, these three stories here are the stories that actually I would dig deeper to try to find out. So I always believed after the trial and all those things that came forward that Woody Allen was innocent. Again, apart the creepiness of how he met his wife Sun Yi and the dynamic, of course, that people allege, of course, there must have been grooming going on there. You know, I agree that it's creepy. I'm not justifying that. But at the end of the day, when this person is an adult and they decide they want to be together, they are two complete strangers. They're not related by anything. They are together, they're married. Who am I to say, those people shouldn't be married? They've had like a 20 plus year good marriage so far. How many people can say that? So you make of that what you want. But the thing that I find interesting, like I said, that adopted kids are actually against Mia Farrow, tell me a lot more than the accusation of the biological sons and daughter of Mia Farrow, which most likely could have been coached. And here you have another statement in support of Allen. So many times I saw my mother try to convince her, referring to Dylan, that she was abused, and it has worked. Someday I hope Dylan can escape from my mother, confront the truth, and begin her own healing. Moses Farah. This is coming from a clinical psychiatrist or psychologist. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was very important to my mother to project to the world a picture of a happy blended household of both biological and adopted children. But this was far from the truth. I'm sure my mother had good intention in adopting children with disabilities from the direst of circumstances, but the reality inside our walls was very different. It pains me to recall instances in which I witnessed siblings, some blind or physically disabled, dragged down a flight of stairs to be thrown into a bedroom or a closet, then having the door locked from the outside. She even shut my brother Thaddeus, paraplegic from polio, in an outdoor shed overnight as punishment for a minor transgression. So, wow, those are big statements, right? This coming from the adopted children. So I've also known, people speculate that this also new documentary, of course, it's all biased, like the documentary of Johnny Depp. You can put some person to talk in a certain light of Woody Allen or your enemy, very easily. You can persuade somebody to do so. But that it's not the law. This means nothing in the face of the trial that happened. The same way means nothing how many underage stands come forward trying to change the story or spread misinformation. Like, for instance, I took this example of Jenna Ortega recoils at Johnny Depp dating rumors because this old rumor spread around that Johnny Depp was dating this Jenna Ortega. And then she squashed those rumors by saying, I didn't even met the guy. I never worked with the guy. So please leave us alone. That's what she says. So, but to me, this is one example, for instance, of seeding, right, the mainstream media with false things that can be always be misinterpreted. But I find that there is a big connection here, an example of how Johnny Depp could be treated by the mainstream media for years to come, as long as the narrative of the cult movement, like the Me Too movement, or the toxic feminist, They still try to revision history because it does not fit with the idea that women have to be always believed and the men are guilty by default. So, guys, I hope you find this video interesting. Let me know your thoughts. Please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you later.